Have you ever looked at the family next door and wondered what secrets they hide? What if the most dangerous people in your life weren't strangers, but the family you had trusted? The people who smiled at your children. The people who sat at your dinner table. On a quiet spring morning in 2016, a tight-knit community woke up to a nightmare that shattered their reality and made national headlines. This is a story about the ultimate betrayal, a calculated conspiracy, and a devastating custody battle that spiraled into the unthinkable. Welcome to Pike County, Ohio. It's the kind of rural Appalachian town where generations of family grow up together. Among these family were the Rhodens. They were hardworking and deeply rooted in Pike County. But on the morning of April 22nd, 2016, that peace was permanently broken. A frantic 911 call pierced the morning silence. A relative had gone to feed the dogs at a family home, only to stumble upon absolute devastation. Law enforcement rushed to the property, but what they found was just the beginning. The tragedy didn't stop at the house. It spread across 4 different homes, stretching miles apart along winding country roads. 8 lives were taken. Christopher Rhoden Sr., his ex-wife Dana, and their 3 children, Clarence, Frankie Rhoden, Hannah Mae Rhoden, and Chris Jr. Also lost were Frankie's fiancée, Hannah Gilly, Christopher Sr.'s brother, Gary, and a cousin, Kenneth. Entire generations of a single family tree were wiped out within hours. The details were chilling. The victims were targeted in the middle of the night, in one place they should have been the absolute safest, in their beds. Yet, amidst the total loss of these adults, there was a detail that left seasoned investigators completely baffled. 3 young children, including a newborn baby, just days old, were left entirely unharmed, sleeping right beside the tragedy. Who could do something so incredibly cold, yet deliberately spare the youngest members of the family? The investigation became the largest and most complex in Ohio's history. At first, rumors ran wild. Because investigators found evidence of marijuana cultivation on some properties, whispers of cartel involvement flooded the internet. For over 2 years, the community lived in paralyzing fear. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation poured over thousands of tips, conducted hundreds of interviews, and analyzed a massive amount of evidence. They were basically searching for a ghost. But the truth was far more terrifying than a faceless cartel. The truth lived right down the road. In November 2018, authorities made a stunning announcement. 4 people were arrested, and it wasn't an international organization, it was the Wagner family. George Billy Wagner, his wife Angela, and their adult sons, George IV and Edward Jake Wagner. The Wagners and the Rhodens weren't enemies. They were intertwined. Jake Wagner and Hannah Mae Rhoden had once been a couple, and they shared a young daughter named Sophia. The motive wasn't money or illicit rumors. It was absolute, unyielding control. The Wagners were entirely consumed over a bitter custody battle over Jake and Hannah's daughter. When Hannah refused to sign away her maternal rights, the Wagner family held a series of secret meetings. They didn't just plan a crime, they orchestrated a military-style operation to completely erase the Rhoden family so they could take sole custody of the child. The premeditation was staggering. The Wagners spent months studying the Rhoden properties. They bought specific shoes from Walmart to leave fake footprints, hoping to confuse law enforcement. They built custom devices to silence their weapons. They jammed cell phone signals and hacked into security cameras to avoid detection. And on that terrible night, they worked together as a cohesive family unit to eliminate another family. It is a level of psychological darkness experts still struggle to comprehend. A mother, a father, and 2 sons bonding over a meticulously planned mass tragedy. The walls eventually closed in. Facing an overwhelming mountain of forensic evidence, the family's united front fractured. Jake Wagner pleaded guilty in 2021, taking a deal to save himself and his family from the ultimate penalty. Angela Wagner soon followed suit, turning on her own flesh and blood. George Wagner IV rolled the dice with a jury trial in 2022. The trial laid bare the family's sinister dynamics, and he was found guilty on all counts, sentenced to spend the rest of his natural life behind bars. Patriarch Billy Wagner still awaits his final day in court. 8 lives were extinguished because of one family's toxic obsession with control. The Pike County tragedy remains a haunting reminder that the most dangerous monsters don't always hide in the woods. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, sitting right across the table from you. What are your thoughts on this devastating case? How does an entire family convince themselves to cross that line together? Let me know your theories in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this for more deep dives into the darkest corners of the universe. Stay safe out there, and as always, until the next one.